Oh, what the? Ghost of Realus?
At long last, you have freed me. Now, I can finally complete my lord's last request.
What happened to you?
My 3 companions and I were sent here by the Emperor Tiber Septim to discover what evil had defiled the holy catacombs of Sankar-Tor. We did not know that the Underking, who was here an artist, had reason to take his first revenge upon his former lord. The Underking defeated and ensnared us in his evil enchantment and bound us here to guard forever the defiled shrine of Tiber Septim.
Who are you?
I was Realus, loyal blade of Emperor Tiber Septim. I do not know how long I have been dead. It feels like an eternity.
Probably at least 200 to 400 years. Is the Underking still here?
No. He departed long ago. But his evil will remains, preventing any from paying homage at the shrine of Tiber Septim. Over the uncounted years of our slavery here, we have brooded over our defeat. I believe that we can undo the Underking's evil magic. I go now to complete my duty to my lord, Tiber Septim. Free my brothers, and together we may be able to lift the Underking's curse. Farewell. Why do you disturb me?
Okay, I'm not trying to disturb you. That was weird. He like engaged dialogue with me after I'd already talked to him. Okay, so really quick, I pulled this up on the unofficial Elder Scrolls pages. I want to read it to you just so you understand. In Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall, and I've talked about this several times in this playthrough because it's very important in regards to Tiber Septim and Talos, all those sort of things. The Underking is the guy who you actually help in Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall, and because of the success you have in that game where the dragon break happens for the ending and all the endings happen at the same time. That's how Mannimarco became a demigod instead of just a necromancer. You know, that's how the orcs were accepted into the Empire and all the Red Guards and Bretons stopped fighting and everyone won at the same time, which sounds bizarre, but that's how come everyone was able to prosper. One of the parts of that ending was the Underking. Now, this is about the Underking. It's just short. It's right off unofficial Elder Scrolls pages. It says, the Underking is a title of uncertain origin that has been attached to a number of supernatural beings throughout history. Individuals who bear this moniker include King Ysmir Wolfhearth, which if you're familiar with Skyrim and you go into Windhelm, pretty sure his name is one of the plaques. He's one of the first guys that came over. He was an avatar ashore. We've talked about that. He was a Shezarene who fought the tribunal at Red Mountain. That's when the Dwemer had to ally with the Dunmer to fight him. Was an ally of General Talos, the advisor of his son, Pelagius I, and lived and died 3 times. In one of his lives, he defended Tamriel from an Akaviri invasion alongside Alamexia, which is one of the tribunals. So yeah, he did fight with them and against them. It's a long and checkered history between the Nords and the Dark Elves. Zurin Arctis, now this is the part that's important, who either betrayed or was betrayed by his master, Emperor Tiber Septim. He also destroyed Numidium twice. Most sources call Arctis the Underking, and there is only one source for Wolfhearth's claim to the title. And the book is called the what is that? Arcturian heresy. And then you can look up more on the individual. So let me explain this. Talos is made up of 3 souls. Wolfhearth, Tiber Septim, and Tiber Septim gets all the credit, and Zurin Arctus. Zurin Arctus was Tiber Septim's battle mage. And to make a very, very long story short, back in the ancient days, how the final part of Talos, I keep calling him by his god name, Tiber Septim, how he ended up uniting the Empire was he went through and he did a lot of trickery and alliances and supernatural things. So that's how he slowly acquired all the different provinces and got all the different races to fall under his banner. And finally, it was down towards the end of the war. He needed the High Elves to join. And they live on a set of islands called Somerset Isles. And it's in the far southwest part of the world. Well, the problem is that not only are they super ultra magical, maybe the most magically talented race, but they have quite a navy. In fact, if you read some lore about the war that happens before Skyrim, the Dominion absolutely wrecked the Empire's fleet, and you can imagine how good the fleet is at the Imperial Legion fields. So, needless to say, Talos or Tiber Septim wasn't having a lot of luck crossing the ocean. Well, there was this machine, and this was the main thing that Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall was based around, was called the Numidium. Now, the Numidium is a gift that so it was a giant weapon that the Dwemer were building, and I don't want to get into their whole story. You can look it up, but the Dwemer had an incident occur where during a battle, they all disappeared. Every single dwarf from the face of the world disappeared at the same time. And it's one of the absolute biggest mysteries in the Elder Scrolls. Nobody knows where they went. Now, I have a lot of theories, but we'll save that for another time because it's not pertinent to this game. But when they left, the Tribunal who were fighting them, the Dark Elves, they went in there, Neravine and the Tribunal, and they found this thing called the Numidium. Now, the Numidium is this huge, colossal Dwemer super weapon. And it's basically a giant Centurion robot. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but that's exactly what it is. It's a giant robot. This giant robot was so powerful, it said that it had like cannons and missiles type things, lasers, things that were ridiculous, basically. But the problem was they couldn't get it to start because no one knew how to get it started. And when Talos, or I keep calling him Talos, whatever, you know who I'm talking about, Tiber Septim, went to conquer Morrowind, the Tribunal knew, because they had visions, that they would lose a lot of lives and lose the battle if they fought against him because he was divine. So what they did was they met with them, and the Dark Elves said, hey, Lord Vivek said, I have a gift for you, and he gave him the Numidium. Well, he gave him the Numidium because it's a huge weapon, but nobody can use it, right? Well, that is where this Arctus guy, let me look at his name, Zurin Arctus, that the Blade was just talking to us about. He was the battle mage advisor. So Tiber Septim had 2 advisors, 2 main guys. Ysmir, which was an ancient Atmoran Nordic king who basically lived, like it said, has lived multiple lifetimes. Once again, that comes from the god Shor. He's a Shezarene as well. So we have Ysmir, who at this time has come back at the god's will to help Tiber Septim take over the world. And then he has Zurin Arctus. And he says, hey guys, I need to come up with a way to start this big machine because we're going to use it on the High Elves and make them surrender. Because it's the only weapon in my arsenal that could actually make them surrender. Otherwise, they have a chance to come back and defeat us. And the High Elves, as I've said, they don't want mankind to run an empire. That's a big no-no. They're very, very high zealot because of their lineage to the gods. They don't want to answer to any man, right? Only elven kind should be in charge in their mind, particularly their race. What ended up happening was, and like the article said, we're not sure what the truth is, but when you find in Daggerfall the Underking, he's like an undead zombie, nasty looking guy. And it's Eastmere. To fire up the Numidium, they had to make this thing, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's a particular essence. And what Zurin didn't tell anyone was that it needed a very powerful, ultra powerful soul to activate it. And Tiber Septim and Eastmere and Zurin met to activate it, and Zurin blasted Eastmere with the Soul Trap spell to betray him at the last minute. This is Eastmere's version of the story. So he blasted Eastmere and mortally, Soul Trapped him, then mortally wounded him. So as Eastmere was dying, because he was a Shezarene and he had Atmor and Nordic blood and stuff, he actually knew how to use Dragon Shouts, which, if you're not familiar with those are, go look up Skyrim, right? Most of us that are watching this probably know what they are, but if you don't, it's a special power from the gods for the dragon blood. And he shouted the mage to death. And then what happened was the soul, it powered the Numidium, but part of his soul and part of Zurin's soul mixed and actually occupied Zurin's body. It's really complicated. So basically Tiber left with the machine thinking they're both dead, didn't tell anybody, right? That's why I said Tiber Septim is not a good guy. Eastmere is actually the guy who helped him win almost all of his campaigns. How many times have you ever heard of Eastmere? Never. The only time you hear it used is a title because it means Shezarene. But he's really one of the reasons to tell us. Anyways, this has went on long enough. Let me just end with this. Zurin Arctis, when you beat Daggerfall, one of the things that happens is that the Underking's soul is released into Aetherius. And that's why it says in this article in particular, according to one theory, Wolfhearth, Tiber Septim, and Zurin can all be regarded as part of the same antimorphic oversoul that makes up the deity known as Talos. Because there's a little bit of all of them in it. Now, Tiber Septim's the main soul because he ascended, but the whole reason he was able to ascend is because of the Numidium and the power he wielded and the god's blessing. So there's a little bit of Eastmere, a little bit of Zurin in there. However, what this game establishes in the lore is that Zurin is not a good guy because not sure what the deal is there, but he's, back and he's ticked, right? So there you go. There's half the episode worth of lore, but I couldn't resist. I love that stuff. We've got some interesting markings here. Syncrator Entry Hall. Let's see what we got. It's a very unique dungeon. Okay, more wraiths. Oh, this is sweet looking, though. Alright, let me clear this place out. Oh. There's our one friend. I see. I have found the Shrine of Tiber Septim. Its entrance is blocked by some kind of enchantment. I'll have to find some way to dispel the enchantment in order to reach the armor inside the shrine. Ooh. Yeah, that'll hurt you. Okay, let's back off. So it looks like there's going to be at least one other... he said he was in here with 3 other people. So there's other people we need to get. Tomb of Raymond Cyrodiil. Oh, look! The guy who was the founder of the Second Empire before Tiber Septim... He died, and then Tiber Septim took everything over. Here lies Raymond of Cyrodiil. He defeated the Akaviri horde and brought peace to Tamriel. 2762. Who else is buried in here? Raymond II, crowned Emperor of Tamriel. He fell in battle against the Dark Elves in the 57th year of his age, after a reign of 39 years and 8 months. Interesting. Can't read this tomb. And what do we got on this one? Can't read that one either. So there's the tombs of Raymond I and Raymond II. By the way, Raymond I was the Ninth Divine before Daggerfall happened. He was called Ebenarm, and he was the warrior prince, and that's why you go, oh, I've never heard of him before. That's because after the game of Daggerfall, the Dragon Break caused him to be not deleted, but his divinity was deleted, and Tiber Septim became the man god. But Tiber Septim was not the first one, in theory. Okay. More freaking wraiths. Let's get to this blade. Got him. Hit him with old Hatred Soul. I have destroyed the second of the cursed blades guarding Sancrator, freeing his spirit to help his companions lift the Underking's enchantment from the shrine of Tiber Septim. I should continue to search for the other two undead blades. I'm guessing that the Underking came here and was ticked off because Tiber Septim kind of left him for dead, as well as Eastmere.
Have you seen Elaine? Or Valdemar? No. That was...
Oh, I see. They got separated and they got killed. What is this? A unique sword? What's that called? Whoa, that's a pretty cool katana. It does disintegrate armor. Not nearly as good as our stuff. It's a two-handed unique katana. Interesting. Don't really want it, I'm sorry. Thornblade is way better anyways. Why am I opening chests? We don't need loot. There's a shot. Got another one. I have destroyed the third of the cursed blades guarding Sancrator. I need to find and destroy the last of the cursed blades so that his freed spirit can help the ghosts of his companions dispel the evil enchantment blocking the way to the shrine of Tiber Septim. Here's another katana. This one's one-handed, does ice damage. It's called North Wind. It's pretty cool. Hi there, Elaine. Alright, we got one more to go. Let's do it. Got him. Got the last one. All the cursed blades of Sancrator have been destroyed. Their freed spirits have gone to the shrine of Tiber Septim to free the dispel the enchantment. I feel like it says that every single time. Laid upon it by the Underking long ago. I should go to the shrine at once and see if they succeed in their final quest. I sure hope so. Okay, I had to reload save. Sometimes the last guy's ghost doesn't spawn. Make sure it gets up and leaves his body before you run off. They're all here. Alright guys, let's see a cool magic trick. Oh, they did it. Good job. The ghosts of the four cursed blades have dispelled the evil enchantment on the shrine of Tiber Septim. The way to the armor is now open. Thank you. May you all rest in peace. There it is. The armor of Tiber Septim. Take it to Martin. You got it. Are they going to talk to me on the way out, maybe? Any of you? Relis?
We have fulfilled our last duty. We go now to Aetheris without shame. Farewell.
Farewell. Rest easy. Tell the Knights of the Nine I said hello when you guys get up there. Okay. Alright. Fair enough. Well, we've done our job here. Time to get this armor back to Martin. We've returned. Oh, man. I love this particular song. It's called Ariel's Ascension. It's part of the soundtrack. I love it all, but this is probably my favorite. This is just very chill. Oh, and then it switches. Of course. Alright, Martin. Oh, got another table with even more books now.
My progress on the Mysterium Xerxes is slow, I'm afraid. How goes your search for the armor of Tiber Septim?
I have found your great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather's armor, Martin.
The Septim blood may flow through my veins, but you have the soul of a hero.
Thank you.
The armor of Tiber Septim himself. Geoffrey will be amazed to see it. You can reassure Geoffrey that I will not destroy the armor. All I need is a scraping of Talos's divine blood. The blades are as touchy as priests about relics of Tiber Septim, it seems.
I can understand why. Those are not easy to come by, and he's kind of their patron. What else can I do to help, Martin?
While you were gone, I've made some progress in deciphering the Mysterium Xerxes ritual. The third item we need is a great Welkin stone.
Oh, that sounds nice and easy to get.
You may have run across lesser Welkin stones. They're fairly common in Ayleid ruins.
Yep.
But a great Welkin stone will not be easy to come by.
Wonderful.
They have been plundered one by one over the years, due to their great value to mages and occultists. There is only one place that is rumored to still contain one. The ruins of the Ayleid city of Miskarkand. A place where many have perished seeking its great stone. But nothing else will do, so you must succeed where all others have failed.
Tell me about Miskarkand.
The capital of one of the ancient Ayleid kingdoms which flourished in Cyrodiil before the rise of men. It is said that the ruins are still haunted by the vengeful spirit of its last king. True or not, it is not a place to enter lightly. Be careful.
Okay. Tell me a little more about the Great Welkin Stone if you can.
The pinnacle of Ayleid magic. Once, every Ayleid city had its great stone, but they've all been plundered over the centuries. All but one. The Great Stone of Miskarkand is reputed still to shine in the deep darkness of its ruined halls. But no one has ever done more than glimpse it from a distance. It is said to be guarded by the ghost of the last king of Miskarkand.
Well, that sounds nice and safe. Can you tell me anything additional about Miskarkand?
Miskarkand is one of the most extensive Ayleid ruins in Cyrodiil. It was the capital of one of the ancient Ayleid kingdoms. You might find glories and laments among the Ayleid ruins useful. I have the library's copy at my table if you need it.
Oh, okay. Maybe we'll check that out. I never knew he actually said that. Thanks, Martin.
Be careful, my friend. I know you brave.
Glories and Laments among the Ayleid ruins by Alexander Hetrard. Having arrived at Godlesford Priory, I just want to see halfway on the Gold Road between Skingrad and the Imperial City. I resolved to make a side trip to view the magnificent ruins, Saitatar or Shadow of the Father Woods in the ancient Ayleid tongue. After many hours of difficult travel through tangled hawthorn hells and Limberlos, I was suddenly struck dumb by the aspect of 5 pure white columns rising. Okay. He's talking about the entrance. Once dedicated to Magnus, the god of sight, light, and insight. That's the being who, when he saw what was going on with the world, he took a bunch of the souls with him as the Aedra made the world and boogied out of there so he didn't lose any of his essence. That caused a rip in dimensions, and that's where the sun comes from in this universe. Kind of interesting. Anyways, Magnus, and through the sun, that's where all magic comes from, because it ripped it into his dimension. Anyways, okay, magical pools, the marble benches. Ancient Ayleids recognize not the 4 elements of modern natural philosophy, earth, water, air, and fire, but the 4 elements of high elf religion, earth, water, air, and light. Interesting. So instead of fire, we've got light. Okay. The Ayleids consider fire to be but a weak and corrupt form of light, which Ayleid philosophers identified with primary magical principles. We are just learning tons of stuff about this universe that doesn't exist, right? That we know of, anyway. Thus, their ancient subterranean temples and sanctuaries were lit by lamps, globes, pools, and fountains of purest magic. That's kind of cool. I had never considered that. Oh, right here. It was by these ancient, faded, but still active magics that I knelt and contemplated the departed glories of long-dead Ayleid architects. Gazing through glass-smooth reflections of the surrounding pools, I could see, deep below, the slow pulse, the waxing and waning of the Welkin stones. The chiefest perils of these ruins to the explorer are the cunning and deadly mechanisms devised by the Ayleids to torment and confound those who would invade their underground sanctuaries. What irony that after these many years, these devices would still stand vigilant against those who would admire the works of the Ayleids. For it is clear, these devices were crafted in vain. They did not secure the Ayleids against their true enemies, which were not the slaves who revolted and overthrew their cruel masters, nor were they the savage beast peoples who learned the crafts of war and magic from their Ayleid masters. No, it was the arrogant pride of their achievements, their smug self-assurance that their empire would last forever, that doomed them to fail and fade into obscurity. Well, that's nice, but I don't think that really helped us.
It's not to be taken lightly.
But still, cool. All right, well, I think I'm gonna make a quick stop to Battlehorn and unload. I got us a ton of one other thing I want to show you. All those Oblivion gates, I got a ton of staffs. Look at this. I got a bunch of copies of the same staff and variations of them. And so we have lots of AoE staff. So if we get in a good battle, I'm going to have plenty of area of effect damage to throw down. So, alright, let's get ready to travel into a huge ruin. Yay!